George Floyd was laid to rest today, or his services were today. And personally, I think today is a perfect day to lay the rest of this stuff to rest with it. In order for us to do that, though, I feel like we need closure. And I feel like I'm going to give you guys that closure today. We're going to go back and kind of hindsight is 2020 and decide exactly what this really was, what this really became about, and what hopefully we learn from it as a country going forward. Also, I became a patriot yesterday after overwhelming support from you guys when I asked about it in my video yesterday. So those two things we're talking about today. I've already tried to make this video once. It got long. I redid it to make it a little quicker. We're doing that now, guys. We're jumping right into it. Guys, I am Jared. This is RedRacer Video. I am your daily, late-breaking, world/political news guy. I'm an America guy. I'm a car guy. This used to be a car channel. I love baseball. I love flags. I'm an America dude. I'm a patriot. I don't just love America. I love people who love their country. I make these videos because I want to leave my kids a better place. And I know that things right now are very, very fragile. If you guys like truth, unbiased opinions, and if you want no one telling me what to say or do, I'm probably your guy. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, please like, subscribe, leave a comment before you go, because those help me a lot. And there is a link in the description if you want to support me on Patreon. I do not work. This is my full-time job. And YouTube does demonetize a lot of my videos for absolutely no reason. That's why I started my Patreon account. We'll get into all that later, but let's dive into the George Floyd stuff, guys. I didn't watch the funeral service today. My kids had dentist appointments. I had a lot going on. We also had to do a little drive-by for my kid's last day of school, see his teacher from 6 feet away, all that stuff. So I haven't gotten a chance to watch the service. I watched little snippets of it, though. Also got the opportunity to watch the X-22 report, link in the description. Get some thoughts from Dave. I'm not totally caught up on everything he's saying, but he said some things that were really powerful, really grabbed me. Guys, here's what we need to talk about, okay? And obviously hindsight is 2020. Before I go into the hindsight, I know we don't know everything right now. And I hope that you guys know that we don't know everything right now. I know there's different angles. There's stuff that looks fishy. Cops got out of an EMT or an ambulance to put him in. I know there's a lot we maybe don't know, okay? Out of purposes of peace across the country and the globe, I feel like I'm just going to let this thing rest for a minute. The president said he's on it. He's got the FBI on it. AG Barr's on it. I think it's time for us to back away and let them do their thing. And I do believe we'll get the story at some point. But investigations take time. And unfortunately, I know this isn't what a lot of people want to hear. Right now, we're not going to get the full story. It's just what it's going to be. Really quickly, I want to say the next thing. This outrage we're seeing on TV is nothing more than a movie. They literally are making a movie for us. They even used footage from the movie World War Z on a news station to show you what a city looks like. This is a game. Not a game. This is not a game. That was the wrong choice of word. This is serious, and they are not messing around. This is war. We are literally at war. There is a shadow government in our country. There is a shadow army in our country. They go by the names of Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Do your research. Don't take my word for it. I know there are good people out there that believe in Black Lives Matter. I'm not saying that every person that likes Black Lives Matter is bad. I'm saying that what the actual group is and what Antifa actually is, they are absolutely shadow government soldiers, essentially. Link in the description, X-22 report, start watching it. Dan Bongino also in the description, start watching it. Why are the same cities the ones having all the problems of these riots? The same cities that had 5 to 10 times the amount of people die from the virus as Republican cities and states. Just so happens to be those same places that they're telling the president, no, we don't need National Guard. They're telling their officers, stand down and let these people destroy our city. There are business owners, officers, I don't know if any National Guard people have been hurt yet, but there are people dying from these protests. Let's clear something else up. That is not a protest. Those people are not protesters. Those are rioters and looters. There are actual protests happening. There are people trying to do it the right way and peacefully protest. But Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and again, not the people who actually think they're making a difference because the TV is misleading them. They literally go around and coordinate chaos. They burn buildings to the ground. They kill people. They've got dudes on the sidelines watching it, directing people. You've seen the videos. If you haven't seen the videos, you guys need to start getting new sources. A guy runs up. You got a young kid standing there with his gun acting all cool, and a guy runs up, punks him, pulls his gun away from him, then barks a bunch of orders at him and tells him to go down the street and go do something else. And you see the dude go on, run off and do exactly what he's told. We are literally at war in this country. To all the people who put a black screen on their page, you don't understand it yet. But one day you'll realize you were siding with a shadow government warfare program doing that. This whole thing was about divide us. They know we're united right now. They know how solid and how, what's the word I'm looking for here? They know our level of solidarity. That's why this event happened. They were losing control of the virus thing. They knew that too many people saw the drugs that were available, saw the inflated death tolls, saw that there was fishy stuff happening in nursing homes. We all saw what was going on, right? So they were losing control. They were losing control of that. So what came next? This. George Floyd. I'm not saying his death was faked. I am saying maybe it was. I'm not being disrespectful to him or his family. I hope nobody takes anything like that from that. But I do think this was the next event like we talked about in my last video. We've got to recognize exactly what they wanted, and it was us fighting. I want to touch on something else really quickly here. I know I made a lot of videos about this George Floyd thing. Going into it, I didn't want to because I knew that I was feeding the beast. But I could see how big it was getting, and I felt like I had to be the voice of reason in there telling people, relax, don't give in, don't go freak out. This is part of the plan, you got to chill. Somewhere along the lines, emotion gets involved, and I do think there ended up being some back and forth, and I ended up contributing to something that I didn't want to. My whole point this whole time has only ever been to help you guys see that it's not about race. They're trying to make it about race. Have you seen any Democratic leaders condemning what's going on or denouncing it? Have you seen Hillary denouncing the riots? Have you seen Obama denouncing the riots? No, you haven't. Not only that, Hillary and Obama have now been quoted as basically inciting people to fight and stand strong. They're not condemning this stuff in any way. They're literally, what's the word I'm looking for? They're riling up their troops. The vast majority of the people causing all these problems are Antifa and Black Lives Matter, part of a shadow government soldier force. What's what we're looking for? Army. If you don't know that yet, I'm sorry, but it's happening. Start looking. They were trying to divide us. I'm done letting it divide us. I'm done. Anything I say about this from this point forward will be very, very selective. If I say anything at all, and it will only be to point out to you guys what is happening. Our country is at war. There is a shadow government fighting against Donald Trump and his presidency and our government and our military. This is what they're trying to do. It's called infiltration. It's called, it's insurrection. This is what they're doing. These are warfare tactics. If you're missing that, I'm sorry, but we've got to stop letting it divide us. Together, they can't beat us, and they know it. They're kind of pulling us apart right now. Stop giving into that, okay? And remember what I said about the states that are having these problems. Democratically run states. Those people are in on it, period. They're trying to show you on TV a movie that shows unrest. There is not unrest. Our country is together. Even though the TV tells you everything's going crazy, it's not. Everybody writes me, man, things are crazy. No, they're not. They're only crazy on TV. It's a movie. Don't buy it. Okay. I hope I didn't offend anyone. I didn't get anybody's feel bads all ruffled up. Let's put this dude to bed. God bless you, George Floyd, if this is what happened. I'm sorry to anyone. That was terrible. We are not going to let it tear apart our country, though. We cannot. I'm done. Yesterday, I asked you guys what you thought about me becoming a patriot. And by patriot, I mean a P-A-Y-triot. Yes, there's a connotation that goes with people who have Patreon pages. I'm going to explain to you what happened yesterday and why I now have one. I asked for your advice. I did not get one negative feedback, literally not one negative feedback about having a Patreon account that I can remember. And I read through, I think I've been through all my comments, yeah, almost all of them. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people said, yes, do it. I will support you. Thank you so much to everybody. I did last night, create a Patreon account. I stayed up late. I put a lot of thought into it. I wanted to be careful about it. I don't want people to see this as like me being a panhandler kind of a deal, because I get the connotation or the annotation or whatever that word is that goes with that. I want to explain to you guys the deal. I do not work. I don't. I haven't now for a few months. My YouTube finally started making it when I started being honest with myself and started bringing you guys the truth. As soon as I started making it and it started actually bringing me like income money, YouTube figured out that I was talking about stuff that they didn't like me talking about, and or they just don't want to pay people, and they started demonetizing all my videos when I upload them. Almost every single one of them after review has been approved. But in that original 24 to 48 to whatever, however many hours they finally get around to it in, I lose all of the bulk of the views that video is going to get, especially with me being a daily news guy. It got to a point where I was making money that could actually support my family and help me spend every waking moment of my life either kissing on my babies or researching this stuff for you guys and making the videos and bringing this to you and interacting with you through comments. YouTube's now taken that from me, and I can't depend on them. I can't let them have that power. I can't let them decide what I'm going to say. I can't let them shape what my videos are going to be like, or be afraid not to say something for fear of them demonetizing my video and me not being able to pay the rent or pay my mortgage or pay my payment or pay kids' food or whatever, right? So I started a Patreon account. This is literally how I make my living. A lot of you, before I even considered starting a Patreon account, said, man, I would love to support you. How do I support you? To those of you who are grassroots and even planted that seed in my head, thank you. I did start a Patreon account, link in the description. It's very feasible. Just about every single one of you could give me almost nothing and it would keep this all flowing, like really going. I am committed to bringing you guys the truth every single day. I might miss a day here or there. I need to be fair to my family, but I am trying to bring you guys good, useful, accurate, timely information every single day and be real about it and see both sides and just dumb it down so that it's the way I would understand it. Hopefully you guys will understand it. Thank you to everybody who's already jumped in there. I only put it up last night. We're already at 7 people. I am honored. I am truly honored. Really quickly, to the people that think that this channel's going away because I have a Patreon account, that is not the case. I didn't start a Patreon account so that I could disappear from YouTube and force you guys to pay me to watch me. That's not what's going to happen. You're still going to see my videos. There will be some perks for my patrons. I will do some live feed stuff with patrons only. I will give them the ability, depending on what level they're in, and go click on the link on the Patreon and go see how that works. But I am going to give some perks to people that really, really support me. It's only fair. But the bulk of my work, my YouTube videos, everything I do, nobody's going to lose access to me. One more thing I feel like I should cover. I now spend a massive amount of my time responding to comments, both here and on Instagram and on Parler, Parler. Ditch Twitter and Facebook. Go get on Parler instead. But between all of that, guys, I'm flat out of time. I can't continue to be as engaging as I want to be with you guys and still give you accurate information. It takes a lot of time to stay on top of what's happening. And even at that, it's hard to stay on top of it. To my patrons, I will give you early access to stuff. You will have access to me that everybody else won't. I will no longer be in the comment section of these videos as much as I was before. I will still get in here. I'm still going to like stuff. Your feedback means something. I have to keep my finger on the pulse of my channel or I'm doing myself a great disservice. I understand that. But I can't spend nearly the amount of time on comments and liking and doing all that I used to. I just can't. If I continued to do that, that would be me thinking emotionally and not thinking logically. And logically, I've got to spend my time where it's most wise, and that's making sure that this brain is packed full of stuff that I can now convey to you. That's why I have a Patreon account. That is why I'm asking all of you to become patrons of mine. It is very cheap, but it literally changes my life and lets me continue to bring these to you every day. Keep me completely independent of anyone telling me what to say, so YouTube can't control my money. And I promise I am committed to giving you guys accurate information from now until forever. You'll always have access to me on Patreon. You can message me. I get back to those people like now. If you've noticed, Instagram and YouTube, I can't do it anymore. If you're my patrons, I got you. I will make sure you get value out of that $3 or $9 or $17 or whatever you decide to do. I love you all so much. Thank you for the vast and massive support I have received in the last 6 weeks of my life since I decided to be honest and switch to this. I am imploring more of you to go and do the same. I'm not saying you have to go full Jared, but use your voices. Our voices matter. We are part of the Great Awakening. This is very important. I love you all. Thank you so much. Video tomorrow. Don't miss it. Thanks, guys.